Everybody, we're back on the Saving Humanity podcast. I'm here with my friend Ashtara.
Hello, guys. Happy to
And
be here.
I'm excited. We've been trying to work this out for quite a while, and we're here. It's a beautiful moment in time. Me and Ashtara obviously are friends, know each other, and I appreciate your energy, as I told you when you got here. And
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
always uplifting me and reminding me how amazing I am, and so glad to connect.
You have a kind energy. You really do. And the first moment I met you, when I met you a long time ago, you just had a very inviting, positive vibration.
Do you want to tell them how we met?
Yes, we met.
I've never had that happen before, so it's a pretty beautiful thing how we met.
Sugar House Park. I was walking up the hill. I think she was sitting on it, and she was sitting at the top of the hill and maybe doing some meditative present practice. And then I just, I love sharing, I love learning. So I just said something to Ashtara, I feel like you were very present, or very, I could feel your energy. You had a big energy wave. So I know I mentioned something about your energy, and then you were just very inviting to me. You just I could tell just how you engage with people is how I hope to engage with people, and how I think we as humans should try, and you have a kind essence, not because you wanted anything, not because you thought, even this would ever happen, more just you just share freely, and I sense that within you. And we probably hung out for just even that day, probably 40, half an hour or so just talking. And it was just, I could see that you had a kind essence. I could tell that you were a very unique energy, and that you had a perspective and sort of a, I guess, vibration that's different, and it was refreshing, and it was just kind, really and truly. When I just randomly went up to Ashtara, I could feel her kind energy, and as someone who, thinks that, we should all, probably try to admit that, it was awesome. And so that was the story. And Sugar House Park, I've actually met a lot of great people at Sugar House Park. And
Sugar House Park is an amazing spot.
It is amazing.
I think, honestly, was it at, I think it was at Murray Park, right? No, not Murray Park. Murray Park, right?
No, we may have met twice, but I'm almost sure the first time I met you, we were at Sugar House. You were meditating on the hill, and I came walking up, and I think I just said something about your energy or your vibration, and you were like, yeah, that's me, and then we became friends.
Yeah, and you said that you had a podcast, and we just connected from there. And I like people who are bold and like to go up to people, because that's not me. I'm kind of quiet, and I'm not the one to make a first move and go up to someone. It's something that I'm working on. So I like when someone's bold and takes action like that.
I appreciate your energies, and thanks for saying that. And I love learning. I love sharing. So that's that. It's a pastime too, just to connect and meet. I love if I couldn't ever just go out and just meet people and socialize, I think I could live in the world and I would make myself enjoy aspects of whatever the conditions I'm in. But that's such a quality of life enhancer for me, is just to meet people and learn and grow. And really it's just fun. It's just fun to connect with people like you. And it's fun to, if I wouldn't have, then, I've obviously learned from you because we're friends, but also just taking in your energy wave, taking in the creation that you look to produce is fun, and it's I've learned, or I see a different perspective, or I think about stuff, or, maybe I don't understand everything that you're doing, but it's cool to see, where I'm like, oh, okay, this is different. And if it wasn't for just sharing freely at Sugar House Park, then that wouldn't have happened.
We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't even know each other.
And you really do have, I told you, I feel like you're very, I feel like people probably gravitate to you because you have sort of a big energy, and also you do have that kindness.
Big cat energy. Roar.
See, you totally should, I feel like you're going to be on stage, interviewing entrepreneurs. You have a great, your kind of energy is so free and playful that people, love that, and it's real. So
And I appreciate that. It hasn't always been like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a self-love and self-healing journey for, I'm going to say, 10 to 12 years now. And even the last couple years, I've been self-reflecting, and I'm honestly just at a place where I just want to be self-expressive and just be who I am in each and every moment, even if I'm not at my best and I'm in my mess. I really just want to portray that I'm real, authentic, and organic in every moment. And that's something that honestly has been kind of hard for me because I've always been in that belief system that I have to be perfect to be loved, especially around family and like loved ones. Like I have to have this persona on to be loved. And it's not like that. And so it is something that you need to learn to put yourself out there and be in that element of just being who you are, showing up anyway.
I know because we know each other, and just sort of hanging out with you, getting to know you. What was your earliest memory of, like, because you told me maybe you might be on the spectrum, or certainly you think differently. I remember you telling me that. What was the earliest moment you kind of thought you were different, or like you were a little spiritually different or sensitive to certain things, more tuned in? When did that kind of occur to where you started seeing that?
I feel like I've always been like that. Like ever since I was a little kid, I've always just kind of felt like the outcast where I didn't really belong. I didn't really feel like Earth was my home and like heaven was my home. And I've just been so connected to spirituality and like angels and kind of the metaphysical realm for so long. But later on, I discovered that I, have a gift of being on the spectrum, and I've always kind of used it against me. I thought something was wrong with me because I perceive things a different way. I think a different way. I don't connect with people the way that most people connect with people. I've always felt like it was a flaw, but in the end, I've realized that it's actually my superpower. Because I don't think like you. I don't think like other people. I don't feel like other people. I feel so much deeper. And it started by feeling for everybody else, like being an empath from the very beginning, ever since I was a little jit. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been an empath, super sensitive. I've always been very reactive to light, to sound, and kind of just like the normal things someone being on the spectrum would be triggered by. So it has been something I've had to learn and process and grow from. But now I don't feel that it's a weakness or a flaw. I actually use it as my strength, and I'm open and vulnerable about it. I didn't used to be because I wasn't in a space where I was truly transparent with where I was. I was still holding masks and a facade to be loved and to be liked. But yeah, I'm kind of the alpha sheep out of my family, and everyone around me, like, yeah, I connect with everyone around me, but even still to this day, I feel different. I don't feel like the same as everybody else.
I feel like your energy is definitely, you have a big energy wave. Do you like practice making it big and sort of putting that out there, or do you think that just like comes with time of you like continuing to like release, like you said, mask or these feelings, and then just being like, okay, this is who I am, this is how I want to do it, and then via that your energy wave just brightens?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't always been like this. To be honest, I've actually kind of been that outcast girl where I didn't like eyes on me. I didn't want to be visible. I was the outsider looking at everybody else, being in their light, being in their power and their truth and honesty. And I wanted that for myself. I wanted to be able to share and be in that light. And I would say it's taken me all my life to get to this place where I just am confident in myself. I own my story. I'm honest with where I am and where I've been. And now that I've connected into like my life path and my purpose, I know that I'm meant to share my story. I know I'm meant to put the message out there that we all get to be the creators of our reality. And when we tune into our infinite power and potential of being the creator, we then get to share it with other people. But just with like the last 5 years is where the real healing began for me, where I've claimed my queendom within. I've recollected back to my confidence and have truly just appreciated where I've come from and to radiate that magnetic energy.
I like that. I feel like you are like self-reflective, and you, like you said, are sensitive, and but you sort of wrap everything in like a coat of like kindness towards your fellow man. And I think that's the best part, like, and maybe like for all of us, that's like, no matter what we're doing, as we create and put our energy wave out, we can always also know that, like, someone is us in a different life form and we're them, and, it all kind of goes together. And
it always goes together. You are me, I am you. And everything that is outward is a mirror back to who we are at our core. We are all one. I truly believe that. And I truly believe that everyone that we come into contact in with our life is some soul agreement, some soul contract of why we're meeting again here in the now.
Right.
I believe in past lives. I believe that we've lived thousands of lives, and every person that you come into contact with, you have some type of entanglement with, some type of connection. And then from there, you can realize and be the observer of that and go to a deeper level of why. The understanding of why we're coming together here in the now. It's because we're on the same frequency.
Right.
We're a frequency match, and we're meant to do this together. We're meant to be in community and to rise together. We're not meant to do this journey alone. And that's why there's so much separation and war and fear in the world, is because we think we're doing this alone and we're not supported, and we're not living in community in one.
I was going to say, tell me more, and thanks for elaborating. I liked how you put that there, and I know you're Greek.
See.
And what do you think your Greek background, your family, helped shape like your views on femininity, I guess sensuality, some of the things that you embody, I think. And what does your Greek background reflect in your femininity and sensuality?
To be honest, I feel like I've had to learn that on my own outside of the cultural beliefs and the system that I grew up in.
Okay.
In the Greek culture, I am part Greek from my dad's side of the family, and then I'm also German and Danish. But I grew up in a household where women cannot really be in power, that everything comes back to the man. The man is the household breadwinner, the winner, the one at the top, where I honestly wasn't really able to be in my feminine energy, connecting back to my roots and where I came from. Like the man is the one that's in power. Like every single one of my siblings, our middle name is our father's name.
Okay.
It's a cultural thing.
Got it.
I feel like I had to learn that on my own. I really didn't embody the feminine energy connecting into what I grew up from. I feel like more than anything, I disconnected from my feminine energy because I had to be more in my masculine energy to be liked and valued, to be someone. Going to school, doing all of the traditional things to be valued, and I took the other way.
Right.
I took the other way. All my siblings, they've gone to school, they have like their degrees, and I was the one that didn't graduate college. I was the one that had a child before I was married, and in that, I really truly reclaim my feminine energy by not my family, but a past relationship that I was in, where I had to heal myself from the dynamic that I was in, where I was more of the masculine presence and energy in the relationship because I truly hadn't found that feminine energy within yet.
I feel like, it's interesting, and I know a little bit of your story and just like what makes us the way we are. Sometimes like the things that we think are, challenges, they can really push us to do even more, in life than we would have done had we not had a setback or challenge or struggled at something.
Absolutely.
But all right, this is the more of what does feminine? Because this is obviously I have friends. I think since you know me a little bit, like I feel like a lot of us are in the same circles sometimes. Like we all have, like if I looked at the people like I've hung out with, then you've probably like hung out with them, or we're mutual friends. So it's like, and I love everybody. I love learning. So I don't have a, well, what does feminine energy actually sort of mean to you beyond like the cliche? Like, could you elaborate on feminine energy? At least within a minute or two, sort of if you can, what does feminine energy mean to you?
It's a big question.
Yeah.
When I tap into being in my feminine energy, I tap back to my feminine blueprint, which is being a priestess. I've walked the priestess path and the healer path for as long as I can remember, all of the lives that I've lived and carried on till this day. Being in your feminine energy means reclaiming the throne and the kingdom within your body. We've been the last 2,600 years living from a masculine throne of patriarchy, where we've disconnected the body from the mind. And we've been living and processing life through dogma, religion, patriarchy, where the feminine has completely been severed and cut out of the picture. And my journey really became alive for me when I went to a feminine healing retreat 5 years ago. And actually 6 years ago, I went on a feminine healing retreat, and that was my first contact with truly connecting back to feminine energy, when it meant to be mindful, be present, connect with sisters, coming into a community where we didn't hate each other, where we weren't bashing on each other, where we were loving one another, caring for one another, listening, honoring, understanding one another. And that's truly where I connected back to my feminine energy and realized something was there for me, that was what I was meant to do. There was just this awakening, this exhilaration in my body of, wow, like, okay, like I'm on the right path. I'm meant to be doing this goddess work. I'm meant to be working with women. And in order for me to do that, I really need to feel sovereign and embodied in my body. And what that comes down to is reconnecting back to the portal of your womb. The womb is the cosmic womb and our physical body, and the womb is the gnosis, that inner guidance compass system. The more that a feminine being can connect in with her womb space and in her body, the more her activation of her throat chakra activates, and then that's where we can rise kingdoms and serve our mission in the world, is connecting back to our voice, honoring our body, and awakening that womb power that has all the answers within. I've been disconnected from that for a very long time until that moment, and I started doing ancestral work. I've done visualizations. I started working with yoni steams. I started working with jade crystal eggs and yoni wands to really reclaim that inner throne of connection back to yoni and womb. We really have to be doing the work to connect into the feminine energy, because we live in a world that was created for the masculine.
There's so much there, and I want to ask you more. I've got, and yeah. So let me ask you this: how can a woman? So you touched on people being disconnected from their femininity in their bodies. How can a woman, I guess, start to feel, I guess, in her sensuality again? Like, how can she do that if she's not? That's something I think is interesting for just a lot of people, but maybe you have an insight that can help. How does someone sort of feel their sensuality?
Yeah. As a sensuality mentor and coach, I do Tantra, and I work with Kundalini, I work with the Shakti, I work with embodiment in the body. It all comes back to creating a safe space for you to truly feel and be liberated in each moment, whether you're feeling down, you're feeling low, you are feeling totally activated and turned on. It's all about being in each and every moment and knowing that our senses, our sensuality are a guide to how we truly are and how we can play out our role in the world. We all are sensual beings. We're created with magnetic, sensual energy, whether you're a man or whether you're a female.
Right.
And it comes back to knowing how to connect in with that. So I like to do a lot of practices where I'm actually taking space and time out of my day to create a space for me to just truly connect back in. I use a lot of roses. I work with the rose energy. I'll use the rose energy. I'll use roses. I'll do like soft strokes, connecting with my hands. I'll just like touch my body. I use my breath a lot. The breath is the access point back into the body. So connecting into breath, sound, movement, those are traditional practices that you would practice in Tantra to connect you back in with your sensuality. And from there, you discover and remember what your tics are, what you do like, what you don't like. And from this place and space, then you're able to really truly connect back into your sexual sovereignty. They are not one without the other. Your sensual energy and your sexual energy. And you got to know your body. You got to know your body. No one else is able to know your body. Your man's not able to know your body unless you know your body, like from the inside out. And it is also about being heart-centered, creating a space to connect in with your heart and not try to process being sensual through your mind. It's all about being in the body, connecting to your heart, and then also feeling grounded, feeling safe, feeling supported, connecting into those lower chakras so you are able to expand your sensual practice and what you're embodying.
I can tell you've taken a path to mastery in certain things. Your knowledge and the passion of which you speak to is like awesome. And I you know me, and everyone who comes on, they're friends of mine. So like I'm like sincerely like I really am impressed with your like your path to mastery in that subject, and like how you just share, and like you can tell when someone's really fired up about something that they really love it and they probably know a lot about it,
Yeah, absolutely.
It just flows.
It's the energy. It's the energy of how they speak about it, like all of their embodiment about what it is that they're learning, practicing, that becomes their own inner wisdom and their own inner gnosis. And
I know it.
The path that I've taken, it's because I was disconnected from this all my life. I feel like where your biggest flaws are and the things that you're meant to create magic with, it's something that you have to overcome yourself. The healing path that you take on as an individual and a human being, those are where your magic is. Those are where your medicine is. I've always had some type of disconnect with my throat chakra, and now I'm being more expressive. I'm putting myself out there. I'm speaking my truth and being vulnerable because I never used to have a voice. And from there, that's where I've learned to know and remember what my own medicine is.
Right.
I've always been severed, disconnected. I've always felt like because of the Asperger's a little bit, that I've been disconnected from my body because we are in such a different dimension and a higher dimension where it's really hard for us to ground and connect into our body. But the body has been the hardest thing for me to master, to be honest. And that's why I'm here now, is because I truly feel like I've done the work to be here now to share, what I've been through and how long it's taken for me to truly feel home in my body. I've always been kind of a different, curious person. I've always just been interested in so many different things. Like I'm a teacher, but I'm also a student of life. I'm always learning on the journey of expansion. I feel like Earth here is the mystery school.
Yes.
We're here for a reason. Earth is the most dense planet that we could possibly be on, and we chose to be here right now to overcome whatever we're meant to overcome here. Everything is written in the stars for us already before we get here.
It's interesting. It's almost like a religious. I know it's not like maybe the capital R religious, but there's so much like crossover I see, like growing up like Baptist, and then like being like learning about the spiritual community, just having friends who it's almost so much overlap. It's so interesting how we are as people, and just there's the more personal, the more universal. So
yep.
And But you have such an ability to flow, and it's always just. How does emotional suppression? You mentioned that, like in the chakras and not being connected. How does emotional suppression or trauma? How does that show up in someone's body, especially for women? So I guess how does emotional trauma sort of show up in our body?
So when we're in that, most of the time, the woman in specific, we are going to have problems in the throat. The woman is the trilogy of the three: the throat, the womb, and the yoni. The yoni being the vagina, or whatever you want to call it. We'll usually have symptoms with our period. We'll have pain down there. Maybe even at times, which I've experienced myself, we'll be disconnected from our emotions. The feminine being is an emotional being. The masculine being is more logical, analytic. You got to come back to the polarity and the duality of we complement each other, but we're so different. So when a woman is suppressed and has symptoms going on, it is usually with the womb space. No wonder, they preach, women being on birth control and, all these things to take us out of our feminine power, artificial hormones, that the hormones are what run our entire body.
Right.
So, of course, you're not going to be connected in with your feminine energy if you're following the pharmaceutical big pharma. Like, they don't want you to be connected to your feminine energy. They want you to stay programmed in the masculine energy. A lot of women have disconnect with their throat and their neck because this is the feminine queendom right here at the back of the neck. We've been cut off from our voice, from our truth. Even, at some places in time, our heads have been cut off. It's all for a reason.
I want to talk more. I hope we get to come around about because I have so many. I love learning. So I love learning this, and I love learning about human evolution and like everything that we got here, that got us here is not good nor bad. It is what it is, and we're human animals, and so the most powerful animals in the kingdom of life, being humans, those people sort of just took it over, and then the most dominant people of that, have built society, or what we deem as society. And so it's such a fascinating thing because we're still unlearning, and then also everything's beautiful. There is no in my opinion, it's like the weather, like our human behavior, our past, and just how we behave. It's so based in evolutionary psychology, what helps us survive here, that it just what is, and it's fascinating to learn. And if you can see it as neutral and not as moral or immoral, it can be a unique perspective, and it's also fun to learn the spiritual side of, now that we're here, we're at this point in time, how do we optimize what we have? How do we bring out our best? How do we live with a peace and happiness too, of like what you talk about, which is just being grounded in yourself, feeling your body. It's hard even for a man to always be connected to his body, but your specialty being more with the feminine is how do you tap into that? How do you have an orgasm, or even just not suppress yourself and not have, like you said, a period that's because you're stressed out, and just sort of releasing things that don't serve you is such a great thing for all humans. Now that we're here, we evolved. We were hairless monkeys, that have made it to this point, and now it's I
have a different belief.
Okay,
I don't believe we came from monkeys. We're more intelligent than that.
Mm-hmm.
We were seeded. We had 12 different seedings from people or beings in the galactic. Aliens are what created us. That's what I believe.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't believe we came from mammals, from monkeys back in the day. We've honestly been here for millions of years on Earth.
It's so. I haven't studied that realm. I definitely do think there's probably aliens in the universe.
Probably. Do you honestly think, Earth's the only planet here. God just created Earth with intelligent beings and life on Earth only.
I don't even know if I don't know if there was a God per se. Like, I think it just probably, I mean, the universe is still expanding, so there probably was like a big bang of some sort. And then we just evolved from like the amoeba to like a little cell to like a little fish to like a little reptile thing. And like, because that's why we have like the reptile brain, which is so old, and it's still like we have fight or flight. So there's like they can test like carbon dating and stuff. I really don't know. I just love learning. Like I've read, like I'm knowledgeable enough to know like, oh, this is the theory on how we evolved, or this is what it looks like how we evolved.
Yeah, they
But-
program you from a
Yeah.
little age to make you believe what they want you to believe.
Sure,
But the
sure,
real healing journey is deciphering and discerning for yourself what is real and what is not.
Right.
Because what we've been programmed in school with where we came from, the
Right.
evolution of humanity, like we're living in this box of what they're forming and creating us to be. But in the end, our life journey of why we're here is coming back to our own inner gnosis and our own inner channel of what is right and what we believe in. That's what I believe.
I feel like you could like riff like for an hour on that topic. I feel like that would be like just like sort of the origin of the universe, and then why we're here and like connected all together. I feel like people would like love that. Like you're- I mean, what do men? Okay, two things. What do people sort of misunderstand about feminine energy, and how can they understand better?
So your question is,
Do you think, what do people sort of misunderstand?
what is the misunderstanding
Yeah,
of the feminine
of
energy?
feminine energy, yeah.
So, what people misunderstand about the feminine energy is when people are thinking of the feminine energy, they're thinking that we're this beautiful, radiant, soft, emotional, feminine being. And yes, that is an aspect that is a part of us, that will always be a part of us. But where the feminine creates herself and her power is being in the opposite of that, is the darkness, is being in her full spectrum of her chaos, her mess, the destruction. The feminine being, when she's fully liberated in her true power, is unstoppable. She moves mountains. She moves with her energy. The feminine being moves energetically while the masculine leads physically. And most anyone here and now doesn't really see or feel or reflect or even know anyone that's in true feminine power, because most women that are in power are in their masculine power, the power that's been created that everybody else is in. The woman has always been the one that's the one in the throne. Like the feminine, the feminine, her queen energy, she was the one at the top. She's always been the one at the top, and they knew how powerful she was. That's why they changed the dynamic to the man, religion, the man being the one that's in power. But honestly, in the end, when a woman is truly in her power, you will know it. You will feel it. It's a feeling. It's a vibration. It's an energy. You will feel her.